Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining us in this quickly organized and arranged raffle with Gustavo Camero. And I hope that you enjoyed Michael Jackson. And coincidentally, it's actually the Michael Jackson is the favorites of Gustavo, and I am sure that he can do some moonwalk with the wire, moonwalk with the brackets, or whatever breakdance with the wire. So I would like to welcome you, Gustavo, and thank you so much for entertaining us in the last 2 weeks with your quizzes. How are you, Gustavo?
Fine, and you, Mo? Very nice
so
to
much.
meet you.
Thank you. So do you like Michael Jackson, right?
Yes, since I was an adolescent. I really like it.
Show me a move. Show me a move.
No, I'm not. I'm
No,
not good
I will do a
dancing.
move and you will take it. Okay, I will do a move and you will take it and you will complete it from your side. Yeah. No way. Wow,
Yeah.
that's great. Amazing. So, Gustavo, today is the day for raffle, and also you will explain the answer for these 2 quizzes that we have you have shared recently. So what we will do, maybe we will go through each one, okay, and then we will do the raffle at the end. How do you feel about that?
Yes, I think it's a good idea.
Yeah. So the first
I can present again the 2 questions and explain briefly the answers. And
yes, it will be great. It will be great.
If the participants want to make some questions in the Facebook, it will be a pleasure to answer.
Okay, so for anyone who's watching us on the Facebook, I'm watching it from seeing it from the phone and the iPad and the computer. Please send your question with regard to the first quiz, which I'm going to post now on the Facebook underneath the live, and you can we can share it with Gustavo. Gustavo, you can share your screen now.
Let's do it. My screen number 1. Is it working, Mo? My PowerPoint?
Yeah. And do you mind if we start recording now?
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So thank you very much, Mo, for this opportunity to share my work, this new work, my second ebook. I would like to briefly explain why I have decided to write this new ebook. One of the reasons is all of us are facing a very difficult moment, a very challenging situations in our professional and personal lives. I work not only as a dentist, but also as a teacher. And it's very stressful to work as a teacher only by remote meetings. It's very, very, very stressful. So I decided to avoid becoming crazy. I decided to work in a useful job that I could share with my students after this crazy period. So I'm happy to share my second ebook. It will be a different book. My first book is very, very basic, only about the fundamental concepts of biomechanics. And this second one will be much more, it's bigger, it has almost 300 pages and more than 300 illustrations. It's a practical clinical guide focused on scientific-based evidence. And the great aim is to translate some complex scientific articles into a very simple, replicable, and efficient way to apply the statically indeterminate appliance in our clinical day-to-day.
I'm sure it will be a fantastic book. And ironically, and I'm sure that if you go to your messages, Gustavo, you'll find it. I started reading your first book just before the COVID. When I landed in Istanbul, it was in January 2020. So I read it, and after that we went into lockdown. So hopefully this book will not bring a lockdown, but it will actually bring the key to biomechanics, so people will understand it in a simple way.
Exactly. Although the book is focused on the statically indeterminate appliance, lingual arcs, transpalatal bars, rectangular loops, and roof correction springs. Half of the book, it's only about the theoretical foundation of the biomechanical principles that you need to know in order to use any appliance. So I think that even though those that don't like these complex techniques, they will have some good knowledge in this book. I hope so.
I think the principle of the statistical indeterminate force system and the geometry are the heart and the key of biomechanics. If you understand it, most of the principles of biomechanics is within this scope.
I totally agree. And these appliances are the most difficult to use in the clinical practice. And the reason for that, it's not because they are difficult to construct. It's not about the manual dexterity that we need. The difficult is the intellectual reasoning that we need to have in order to use them. And Absolutely. There are only a few professionals and schools that really teach this kind of appliance. So I'm sure that this book will be unique. That's why I'm so excited with it.
I'm sure, and good luck. So let's go to answer our question. So answer the quiz. Yeah. So the first quiz: which option illustrate the force system perceived by the teeth when a straight wire is placed in these two teeth segments?
Okay. So here we have...
So let me explain it as a lay person. So this is this type of, what's the type of geometry or what type of the force system? Is it A, B, or C, or D? Okay, you go ahead.
Okay, this is what we call a two-tooth segment. It's the most basic malocclusion in the world. We have two teeth with varied angulations between each other. In this case, as you can see, the angle between the interbracket axis and the tooth are exactly the same. I have put 15 degrees. So those who are familiar with the 6 geometries of Burston, everybody knows that this is a geometry 1. A geometry 1 relationship in which we have two equal and opposite force with a high magnitude and two couples or two moments in the same direction. The two moments are in the same direction and the force in the opposite direction. So we have an equilibrium here.
How there's equilibrium? How there is vertically there is opposing force, but the moment they are in the same direction, so how there is equilibrium?
Let's suppose that I will put in blue just to differentiate. So the vertical force together are forming, let's say, a big moment in this direction, okay? The direction of these two forces is opposite to the sum of the two couples here.
I see.
So you have an equilibrium condition. Of course, that this equilibrium, it comes from the wire when it is deformed. And the reaction of this elastic deformation will provoke the force that will be perceived by the teeth. Okay, so this configuration, an extrusive force here, an intrusive force here, and two equal couples, it's the configuration of geometry 1. That's why almost everyone has marked letter C. Okay?
So everyone will get a free copy of the book now?
Take it easy. Okay? So for example, here you have what force here, it's coming to this direction, okay? But it's in the wrong way, because if you simulated the insertion of this wire, this is not the correct answer. This answer, it's impossible, because we have a force in this direction, and it will never achieve an equilibrium. But let me clarify something more. Why do almost everyone has marked letter C? Why? Because everyone has memorized this configuration of force system. Two opposite force, two equal moments in the same direction. Okay, geometry 1. a lot of people has copy and paste some figures to prove that is geometry 1. You can see in the comments, there are a lot of pictures about the geometry 1. And this is okay. It's geometry 1. However, the question was not about the force systems perceived by the brackets. We have to be aware that this force system is being applied to the brackets. Okay? And the question is the force system perceived by the teeth. So we have to consider the teeth as an object together with the brackets. What do I mean? When we transfer these forces to the center of resistance of the teeth, pay attention. This vertical force here, for example, we can see that the line of action of the force has an orthogonal or perpendicular distance from the CR. Okay? So we must add this tipping moment here, provoked by this force. Okay, Mo?
Yes, yes.
So this force here, this tipping moment provoked by the force, will cancel this couple. So we, in fact, in the CR of this tip, we do not have any couple, any moment. Only the force is being perceived by the CR. So the correct answer is letter D.
Yeah. So the angulation of the teeth play a role in determining the force perceived by the tooth.
Perfect. And this is a very common error because we make an assumption. We memorize the 6 geometries, and sometimes we try to automatically transfer these force systems to our tooth, and we hope that this force system will occur in the clinical practice. And this is not true. First, we have to transfer to the center of resistance. It's the force system perceived by the center of the resistance that will dictate the resultant tooth movement.
Beautiful. And I do remember from your first book, you was talking about the moments when you apply a force on the anterior teeth, and this moment, the amount of the moments, okay, and the resultant moment depend on the inclination of the teeth, even if the force sense is the same. So if the teeth are proclined, the moments will be less than if the teeth are upright. I do remember that in your first book. If hopefully I'm not wrong.
Let me see if I'm not sure if I understand the question, but maybe here we can make this comparison so we can understand. For example, here are the angulation that has been calculated by the original article of Charles Burston. In fact, in that article, the angulation was 4 degrees, okay? When he evaluated the 7 millimeter distance from these 2 teeth. In this case, we can see that the force is very close to the center of resistance. Okay, Mo?
Yes, true.
Yes, so in this case, we can say basically that it's the same force system applied to the bracket, the classic geometry 1, will be perceived by the center of the resistance. The same thing. So we can make this direct transfer. Okay?
Yeah.
But as you said, when you have a tipping, as more this tooth is tipped to the mesial or to the distal, whatever, we can see that the effect of the force will create a moment here, a tipping moment. So, for example, in this case, this tipping moment was so high that it was able to neutralize that moment that would be here directly. Okay? Just to remember, and in this case, what has happened? Let's remember that whenever we apply a couple, it doesn't matter the place. It doesn't matter where is the bracket, where is the accessory we are using. The couple is directly transferred to the tooth. Maybe I think it was this point you are highlighting, Mo. The couple, directly the couple, it doesn't matter the place where it is applied.
Yeah.
We transfer the couple directly to the center of the resistance. Okay? It doesn't matter if the bracket is from the buccal side, lingual side, if it's bonded in the apical region of the tooth. When you apply the couple will be directly transferred to the center of resistance.
Yeah.
So,
Gustavo,
the couple.
So let's talk about the clinical implication. Okay.
Okay.
So most of the time, if we are going to have geometry 1, okay, it will be in this situation. We will not have geometry 1 in this situation because the bracket will be in that configuration only when the teeth are tilted. You understand my points? So I don't think that we will get geometry if the teeth are upright. We will never get geometry 1 unless your bracket are wrongly positioned.
Yes, you have geometry 1 when you have, for example, 2 uprighted teeth, but they are in different levels.
Okay, yeah, on different level.
Yes, for example, 2 central incisors. It's a bad idea to put a straight wire in this situation. So whoop, you will have a geometry 1 for system. Okay, so if you have 2 central incisors in this situation, uprighted, but in different levels. This is a geometry 1 relationship. If you put a straight wire, you have a bad result.
Okay. So there is.
Just to finish this question, in this case, for example, what is happening here? The force is increasing the moment perceived by the CR. What's the take-home message here? The take-home message is that we cannot just memorize the 6 geometry force system. We have to transfer these forces to the center of the resistance. In this paper, I have included the reference in my post. The authors has shown that a geometry 1, for example, can result in geometry 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 force system perceived by the CR, depending on the degree of the angulation. So it's very nice, I think, this kind of work.
We have a question
from to memorize the 6 geometries. For example,
we have a question from Filsan Noor on the Facebook. He or she saying how the force is going through the CR when the point of force application at the brackets.
Good question. The force itself, you can transfer directly to the center of resistance. For example, if in this case we have, let's say, 100 grams, the CR will perceive 100 grams. It's very easy, it's directly. We just transfer the force directly to the center of resistance. But if the force is distant from the CR, you have to add the moment. Okay?
Thank you so much, Gustavo. Can we move to the next question? That's
yes, and if you want to have a look in a more detailed explanation about this answer, I have made a post about it. You can find it in my website.
Okay, so
exactly
it's essential biomechanics.
The force.
Yeah, excellent.
And then we have a more an easier question that time.
Easier for you.
For those that are familiar with statically indeterminate appliance. In this example, we have a transpalatal arch, and I have decided to include this question because wherever we work with statically indeterminate appliance, we have to forget about working with shape-driven appliance. For example, what is a shape-driven appliance? Let's say we have a continuous arch wire, continuous, normal, and we want to apply a toe-in bend, for example, in the second molar. What do? We just apply a toe-in, and that's it. We expect that molar will rotate in the desired direction, according to the shape of the wire. Okay, Mo?
Yeah.
This is shape-driven orthodontic.
Is the clear aligner shape-driven or force-driven?
This is a kind of complex discussion, but for me, for sure, it's force-driven. I cannot imagine a clear aligner with a shape-driven planning. What do we do with aligners? We need to plan the force. Where are we going to put the force? Where are we going to put the attachments? Which kind of couples we are going to create? If you do not plan all the forces involved, the aligners will not work. So I think aligners, for me, in the most common situations, I consider force-driven appliance. That's why we still need biomechanics.
Thank you.
But okay, so if you have to think about force-driven appliance, it's not so easy to understand where are we going to make the bends. For example, in this situation, I have illustrated an unilateral problem. Only this first molar is rotated, so we want to apply this couple. Okay, this is our end. How to apply a couple. Let me change to a red. Okay. So we have three options here. In fact, the three options will be able to apply a couple in the molar. I'm not entering the details right now. I will just show you the real force systems, considering the direction of the force, the couples, and also the magnitudes of the moment force ratio, okay, in these three situations. But let's consider this letter B or C, because in letter E, the moment force ratio is so low, okay? We can correct the problem with this type of pre-activation. I hope you understand this is the right side and this is the left side. So you have to make one bend in one side of in one terminal end and the other bend in the other terminal end. Okay, so letter A will not work very well in the clinic because the moment force ratio is so low. Okay, so let's disconsider this option. Letters B and C will work, will correct the problem. But the question was only about a couple. If we think about a shape-driven appliance, that's why a lot of people has chosen this option. We will make a bend only in the side that we have the problem. If I have the problem in the right side, I will make the bend only in this side, and then I will correct. However, if you apply only one bend, you will also provoke a mesial force in this side, and by the law of equilibrium, automatically you will have a distal force in the other side, and this couple is in the same direction. This is a geometry tree. Yeah. We don't need to enter in details right now, but I think it's clear that this mesial force is not desired here. We can create some friction. We can move this teeth to the anterior region. So I really prefer letter B, because if you apply two equal bends, we are simulating here a central V bend. It's like making a central V bend and in a straight wire, and you get two equal and opposite couples. So what do you have here? You know this geometry mode, two equal couples.
6.
Geometry 6. It's a very useful.
So Gustavo, you need to.
Here, I'm wrong here. Sorry. Two equal and opposite couples. It's a very useful force system.
You know how I remember. You know how I remember it from your last lecture. I remember, and if your book is just to draw a line from this passive position of the first one and another one here, and imagine them like a bracket, slot of a bracket, and this is geometry 6.
Yes, because it will the intersection will be exactly in the middle of the interbracket distance. Yeah, it's a good reasoning. So that's the best way to have a geometry 6 force system. We will not create friction. We have a very fast derotation. I have a YouTube video Molars
Yeah.
derotation. You can find it in Facebook, in YouTube.
Actually, it was the first video that we shared in our Facebook group.
Yeah, that.
Yeah. So
And that's it.
just tell me, Gustavo, so this means that you are using a molar tube and molar band with Wilson sheath, or always with lingual sheath, or do you buy the band with the sheath, or you weld the sheath to the band? What do you do?
I'm using weldable sheets in the bands.
Yeah. So do you weld it by yourself, or you come pre-welded?
Normal. I weld by myself.
Yeah. So what type of welder do you have?
Welder.
Yeah.
I don't remember the brand mark, but it's one. It's a machine that allows us to also weld TNA wires. It's very useful.
Thank you.
I can send you the brand.
So if you are in a position, and I'm happy to, let's say that I can give it to you for free, a band with a pre-welded sheath, or a band and the sheath is separated and you weld them, what do you prefer?
If I think we could have in the armamentarium some pre-welded bands. Then you can see if you have a good adaptation, you can use for sure.
Yeah,
it's a kind of hard work to weld all the the sheets. If you have good preformed bands, you can use it. If you can insert the terminal ends of the transpalatal bar, that's it. You can use it.
Then
because
let me ask you a question.
The bands you make according to your patient.
Okay, let's say another way. If you have the band, you have the sheath, and you have the welder, why you don't put your sheath offset and create the geometry that you want, and do not put any bend in the wire?
How many types of tubes we will have?
Well, you will do it for each individual patient.
By some software, for example.
No, I mean, if this patient, in the example that you show, I can put the sheath slightly more lingually. Just I'm thinking, so I can create a bend inside the sheath position.
Maybe it's possible, because it will depend. Everything will depend on the wire and bracket or tube angulation, and the force system that will be released. If you can create the appropriate force system by bending the wire or by changing the shape of the tube, the sheet, it's okay. You have to show me how to do that. Let's create a software.
I'm just thinking. I'm still. I don't use this much, but yeah, I'm thinking. Okay. Yeah. Thank you, Gustavo. What else do you want to tell us?
I think in the future we will use more this kind of appliance focused on some softwares that will help us to create the bands or some customized accessories to deliver the appropriate force systems. We are right about this provision.
I'm wondering if the Insignia or whatever appliance, the customized appliance, they have a biomechanics, and the software is smart enough to understand the biomechanics and the geometries and force determinant system, or I don't know if they have it. Even the Invisalign, I don't know if they understand this principle.
Yes, I think this is very nice to understand, to study. In fact, after finishing this book, I will start going depth into the study of the aligners, how to create customized force systems in order to have a better control of complex movements. This is our challenge for the future, I think.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
But I think we still have some useful tips with this appliance. Can I just finish more with this very quick review of the book? Only 3 slides.
Sure.
Just to show that what are you going to find in my new ebook, I think it will be a practical guide for clinical application of these 4 types of appliance. Very difficult appliance to control and to customize in your clinical practice. But I think you will find it much more easier with my book. What's the scientific base of my book? I'm working with this appliance for more than 10 years. So one of the nice things that you will find, it will be the clinical procedures about how to make trial activations, how to use your hands and your fingers to evaluate, to check the exact force systems, considering the direction of the forces and the moments that you are going to apply in any situation. This is a very important point of the book. The book, all my diagrams are based on experimental studies and in finite element analysis. And together, all these 3 types of analysis, I have created 250 pre-activations diagrams for specific movements in the 3 planes of space. You will be able to evaluate first order problems, second order problems, third order problems. You will click and you choose the pre-activation according to your specific individual clinical situation. But we can make another meeting someday, maybe more, to practice how to use my book, if you think it's interesting.
It will be definitely.
For now, I think we can see who will win the book. We have 2 copies now.
Excellent.
It's a pleasure to give this gift to the participants of Orthodontic Mastery Group.
Thank you. So shall I share the screen now?
Okay.
Excellent. So first of all, thank you so much, Gustavo. You are very generous in sharing the knowledge with us. I really appreciate that. And I wish you a good luck for your first visit to the Middle East. Enjoy the food in Egypt, and go to the pyramids, and be safe. Okay. So you really are going to enjoy it, really. Okay. So in the first quiz, we didn't have any winner, right? Any runners to the prize.
In fact, we had only one winner. So I have got in contact with him to send the book to him.
And that's great. And for the second one, we have 72 or 74.
Yes. I think 72. Yesterday, okay. I have organized the list.
Okay, shall I press the button now? So I place the name of everyone here, and this is the Wheel of Fortune. It is really a randomized, controlled Wheel of Fortune that we have no control of it. It's not anonymous, but it is completely controlled by the computer, so it's avoid bias. This is why the best trial is the randomized one. Okay, so let's start. So you have Alex Katsadoris. Yeah.
Congratulations.
Okay.
Alex.
Yeah. Can you take a picture for that?
Yes, I make a print screen. Okay.
Excellent. Let's go to the second one. Why you don't make it 3 copies, Gustavo?
Because the first copy was to the first winner. But maybe.
Okay. So we have Muammar Isamit.
Great. If you want to make it, let's give another copy. Let's go.
Yes, let's do another copy. That's great. The generosity of the Brazilian. Okay, let's see. I think.
But I need to pay the English teacher, and I have 2 engineers that are working with me to help me with this finite element analysis. That's why I need to sell the book as well.
Don't worry. Don't worry. When you go to Egypt, we will kidnap you, sell you, and then give you the money back. Okay, let's go ahead. Let's do the third prize.
Okay.
Third one. person name.
Oh, I thought it was the blue one.
I'm sick. So
Great.
this is all the prices. Thank you so much, Gustavo. Really appreciate it. We had, I don't know if there's any question. I think there's one question. Can we buy the book now?
No, thank you very much, but not yet. In fact, including the winners, will receive the book in September 1st. Okay, because I'm finished the English review. I have an English specialist that is helping me because I'm not a native English speaker. So I'm finishing the English review. But in September 1st, you will be able to get the book.
Thank you so much. And can we ask you another favor, Gustavo?
For sure.
Could you please continue posting the quizzes without the prize? We just want quizzes, more quizzes, please. This is really interacting and engaging with the audience.
Okay, let's continue.
Thank you so much,
And
Gustavo.
I can include price, of course. We can include price. It's always a pleasure to include price.
Not necessarily a prize. You know, the prize is your generosity in sharing the knowledge. This is more than enough. I know you over the last 3 years, maybe, Gustavo, and I was amazed by your ethics, by the simplicity of explaining biomechanics. And we are all supporting you, and congratulations for your new book. I am sure it will be a huge success.
Thank you very much, Mo. I'm very happy to see you again. Okay, thank you again for this opportunity. Thank you, everyone. We hope to see you in another opportunity.
Thank you so much, Gustavo. Take care. Bye.
Have a nice weekend. Bye-bye, Mo.
Okay. Bye.